Hi everyone, my name is Promise Sudera Onu. Sorry it's been a while. I made any video. Um, I've been uh, I've been busy. But yeah, a few times I had things to say, but I've not been able to make a video. So I'm just gonna compile my thoughts in this video. And again, I'm gonna say, if you're not highly intelligent, you're gonna miss the point, and I'm not trying to offend anyone with this video, so please um you can skip now if you're not gonna get it. All right, so I'm gonna start with Odjus Okalo's big mansion in America that he claimed he bought before coming into politics. A few of us have known Odjus Okalo because I went to Abia State as a small boy to go to my uncle's house, and we happened that I had to follow them to the market. And that day, unfortunately, it rained. And when it rained, that's when I discovered that whenever it rains in about those years, you don't drive your car. So if you drove to the market, everybody leaves their car in the market because of flooding. And the flooding was so bad that everybody have to turn their trousers up to their knees and then try to not get carried by the flood, by walking slowly. You won't even see your knee in the water. And there and then I saw pregnant women paying Okada drivers that will hang their legs almost on their tank to be able to ferry them across the flood. As you know, pregnant women are at risk, so they don't get carried away. And we have to trek a long distance to get to the house. So after that experience, I asked myself, does this state have... Don't forget, I lived in Anambra State, Onitsha. So in Onitsha, we had flooding, but at least there were gutters. If you mistakenly put your leg in the gutter, it can take you during the rainy season. But at least if you're on the road and you don't mistake the gutter, you are marching on the colota, it is fine because Ngige did some work before P2B came in those years. So I kept asking myself, does this state not have a governor? And guess who was the governor then? Odjus Okalo. So Odjus Okalo has such a bad reputation in Abia State as a governor that even after him, his successor was I think he's had two successors now, but Zibazu is nothing to write home about, and these are failures that somebody like Alex Otti is now shining with the recent works he's doing. I'm getting somewhere with this story. You see, we as black people, we tend to, because I was listening to Shehu and, sorry, not Shehu, yeah, Shehu Kuti, yeah, that's his name. Big Bird Kuti, the son of Fela. I was listening to him and Vector, the Viper, one of the very best rappers in Nigeria, on Honest Bunch podcast. And I agree with some of the things they said. Want to come out of neocolonialism, want to fix our education. I can understand their points. I'm going to say a few things. And this is where I ask your intelligence cap to come up, yeah? Wear your intelligence cap as I'm going to discuss this now. Everything that we use in Nigeria, everything that we are as a people, are borrowed culture. And that is why we are always going to be played as ping pong on the world stage. And we're never going to matter. Now, if you're talking about consciousness and you want to fix that neocolonialism, you have to start learning from some people like the Chinese. And I'm going to give instances. For example, in Igbo land, we have what we call Nsimbidi, which is our alphabet, our own alphabet. Before the English alphabet was introduced. So that means we had our own alphabet. Civilization started from Africa, Egypt. I hope you're aware of that. Now, let us talk about things starting out in Africa being systematically discouraged and they take it away and then resell it back to us. The same thing. I agree with him on that line of thought. So we left our alphabet and then took on the English alphabet. That's one thing that we shouldn't have done. Again, we left our language. Of course, some part of Africa, or some part of Nigeria still speak. Well, let me say everybody speak, our language. But I know going to school, they used to tell us you cannot speak vernacular in school. So we used to pay 10 naira anytime we spoke Igbo in Igbo land. Again, that's the second place that we messed up. China, for example, have kept their alphabet, which is called Mandara or Mandarin. And they have also kept their belief system. In fact, for you to understand this, let me give you 5 things that you must hold dear if you don't want to lose who you are, culture-wise, as a country, as a people. Number 1 is time. Everybody uses the Greenwich Meridian time, but the Chinese didn't. They celebrate their own New Year a day separate to the world because they want to remain original to themselves. The Greenwich Meridian time, some countries tampers with their clock once or twice a year. A lot of countries in Europe. Fair enough, in Nigeria, we stick to the clock. We don't really, because we are on the equator, Lagos. But at the same time, we are using the time of the British, the Greenwich Meridian time. But then we had a way that our forefathers used to look at time. They could look at the sun or the moon and tell what time of the year or what time of, they had a way that they looked at time. If they want to tell you when you were born, they will tell you using either the full market days, or then we've lost some of these things, so it might be folklore to you, but it's actually history, something you can go back, So that's 1, time. Then the second thing is your language. Like I said, I cannot even speak Igbo fluently for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or even 2 minutes without adding English. So you can see that we've lost our language. A lot of Igbo-speaking people cannot even read Igbo. A lot of people cannot read Igbo. I don't know about the Yorubas. Maybe they can still read. Because if you say speak, a lot of people can speak by way of speaking, but reading, can you still read? But we're all fantastic in reading English. So we've lost it. Remember, time, then language. Talking about neocolonialism. I want us to raise our consciousness just because I listened to Shehu Kuti. Right? Then the third point. You've talked about time, you talk about language. The third point is your religion, your beliefs. We have already believed in Chukwu Okike Abiyama. We've always believed, and that's why our Igbo names are always talking about God, Chukwu and all the rest. Some of the things that we call evil are the things that we celebrate, from Christianity. Now, I will make an excuse for Christianity because Christianity actually started out from Africa, and at the same time, Christianity is not even what people paint it. But at the same time, if you've watched movies like Emana Jesus and Asuibu, you probably will know that we are not even far off Christianity. But at the same time, it's as if it had a negative effect on us remaining as one, because some of us wanted to practice it in diverse ways. So you have the Catholics, you have the Anglicans, and you have the Pentecostal. It came as more or less like people having their own niche in the same religion. So most countries will have their own unique, what I call it, trademark of Christianity. For example, the English have Anglicans, right? The Scottish have Presbyterian. The Russians have Orthodox. The Germans have Grail Message. Which other one now? The Americans have, Protestants. what we call Pentecostal churches. So different countries have their own trademark of the same Christianity. But in Nigeria, we just carried everybody's pieces, you know. Then number 4 is your way of dressing. You see, even in the UK, the Indians still kept their way of dressing. Do you understand? We just rush into suits and all of that. We didn't keep our own way of dressing. The 3-piece suit, the 2-piece suit and everything are all borrowed culture. Talking about neocolonialism, I like the fact that Nigerian politicians keep to our own, local attires. And people like Governor Alex Silty have now said you can wear Akwaete in Aba, even if you are, public official, public servant. It's recommendable. But we need to raise the consciousness of things that we've lost, our ways in, that we are not unique in. And dressing is one of them. Then, the 5th one is your currency. Your currency. And I think I was watching, was it John? I think I was watching John on that Refuse yesterday when they were talking about, last night they were talking about how to make the Naira appreciate. Simple things like government saying if you want to buy our oil, buy it in Naira. And that will make multinationals or anybody that wants to do business to start looking for the Naira. Put the Naira in demand, Naira appreciates. But we are conscious to run a country whereby the president gives Super Eagles or Super Falcons or whoever money in dollars. So we've dollarized our country, forbidding the Naira. People pay for school fees in Nigeria in dollars. Yes, we can earn in dollars as a foreign, say for example, an artist or a foreign earner or foreign worker. But one currency and one currency only should be used in the country. So these 5 ways are ways that we've lost who we are. Number 1, time. Remember the 4 American market day, the way people can look at the moon and tell you, like if you ask your parents those days, how when they were done, they will tell you it is, I don't know how they used to say it, but in Igbo language, there's a way they used to sort of know the dates with like, or the Danyangu and the Owanyangu and stuff like that. Number 2 is your language. Number 3, your belief system. Number 4, your language. Have I said language already? So you have time, language, so time, language, your belief system, your way of dressing, and the 5th one. What did I even say is the 5th one? Okay, so I even lost my train of thought. But these are the 5 ways that, we've lost who we are. And everything we are doing is sort of, a borrowed culture. And we can start retracing it back to gain back who we are. We can see some African countries trying to retrace it. But again, where I disagree with Shemkuti is where he talks about capitalism. Dangote did an interview that I watched yesterday where he narrated how Obasanjo called him in and asked him to start up a local cement factory or industry to produce cement. And he said importation was better. And at that time, Ibeto was important too, but they stopped it. He said, we had limestone, we have clay, why are we importing? And he said, oh, it's not easy to start, So I think capitalists are good. They do the big spending to push, And then he narrated how a lot of people try to frustrate him, even in the same country that he's trying to save. So I don't really agree that capitalists are evil. I believe that do the big projects that help to push economies forward. So I say this to say, we can start to find ways to regain our authenticity, our originality. We have to learn our language. As a Nigerian, you should learn 1 or 2 Nigerian language while you are a kid, not learning English by compulsory and mathematics. And again, I agree with them that our education is flawed. Our education should be shunning out people that can fix our problems and not just those white-collar jobs that we always get told in school.